Alexandre Acariès is an expert in various disciplines. I first researched about the career of Alexandre Acariès. Wow, I saw that. He is a real pro, very competent and very serious.
The big advantage is that Alexandre's teaching is very comprehensive, since he masters different martial disciplines.
Alexandre have a multidisciplinary background. It's reflected in the courses he teaches. It's visible. It can see in his technical knowledge. Anyway, we can't cheat on that. The particularity of Alexandre is that, in my opinion, he's a mine of self-defense informations, and he transmits a lot of informations. He's a gold mine. I can't memorize everything, but I learn a lot thanks to his teaching method. What I liked in these videos is that Alexandre is someone who, for me, apparently, he's not a pretentious person. He makes it clear that he does not have all certainties, that the techniques he presents could, or not, eventually, get us out of rather perilous situations. And that's something very wise. Very honest. And to his credit, he has all the qualities needed to be an excellent instructor. First and foremost, he's a passionate person, who over the years of practice, research, etc., has become a veritable Bible of self-defense and martial arts.
Everything that Alexandre teaches us are really good tips and tricks. And plus, he's not closed-minded. He's competent in several disciplines. So, he is a multidisciplinary teacher. We learn realistic self-defense, and it's done with a good mood.
It's a great job of teaching. No frills. All explanations are relevant and useful. You'll see that the pedagogy of Alexandre is really adapted for all levels and profiles. Alexandre's pedagogical side. It's true that it still adds something extra to this online self-defense training courses. His explanations are very clear. I also really appreciate the way he approaches the exercises. It's always done in a very fun and educational way. His pedagogy is really excellent. He approaches all themes progressively. He adapts to the audience, and always with smile and sense of humor. The teaching is fun. Alexandre has a great sense of humor. Alexandre is a very pedagogical teacher, very friendly, and he have a great sense of humor. He's really at ease with pedagogy, with a great sense of humor too. Impressive. Alexandre works always very serious, but he doesn't take himself too seriously. It's really nice. I loved his way to make difference between traditional martial arts practice and self-defense practice, and to bring us to reality and make us aware of what reality is and what the dojo is. Professionally, I am a police officer, and through this online video courses, it's true that I've been able to adapt it in my job. I was able to simply put it into practice. It's very effective in any case, especially when it comes to avoiding injury. So it's very adapted, and what's most interesting is to discover the techniques of other self-defense disciplines, which are complementary, insofar as they are focused on self-defense, and all the more so as Alexandre always teaches techniques in the context of real-life situations adapted to the street, so it is much more interesting and motivating. For me, these are very interesting self-defense video training courses, very adapted to my professional environment. First of all, the courses is very well structured. It starts with the principles and concepts and moves on to the techniques with a real strategy behind it. I can tell it's really well done. I really take my hat off to Alexandre in terms of pedagogy. It works. He has many memotechnical methods, which make learning easier for all. Techniques can be easily reproduced, especially under stress, for example, during reflex exercises. The content is varied and covers several themes. It includes courses of Krav Maga, Pencak Silat, street karate, a method created by Alexandre. And I realized with his videos that there are an enormous number of variations that I hadn't considered at all. It's even a little confusing at first because you think, but this, in 15 years of experience, I could have seen it, but it's true that in traditional, we don't really have that approach. and I was totally surprised. Lots and lots of very, very good advice, a wealth of technique. I confess, I consider that we're still beginners, that we learn every day. But I must admit I've learned a lot. Techniques that I had trouble to mastering without really knowing why. Alexandre always has that little thing, that little trick that you immediately think, okay, I've understood, and so it works better. Really full of little tips, where even when you think you know the techniques, Alexandre insists on the little points that make the difference. And frankly, it's a real pleasure, and it's helped me make even more progress by watching all his videos.
I feel more reassured, and Alexandre also gives us a lot of common sense advice, which are always very interesting to take.
I'd say that more than a course, this training is a real accompaniment. It gives us the tools to maximize our chances of using the right technique at the right moment. And you can see it in his pedagogy, which is very progressive indeed for beginners, and which allows to go into quite a bit of details for those who have more practice. So, it's adapted for all levels.
That you're beginner or experienced, Alexandre really getting on everyone's level, but always with the aim to give us more self-confidence. To understand that we're not victims, and that every of us can learn to defend ourselves against aggressions.
Thanks to all these videos, I feel more confident when I go out in the street in my everyday life. I'd like to thank a lot Alexandre for his online courses, and I strongly encourage him to continue to help many people like me.
It has given me back my self-confidence. I am more reassured and a little less afraid of what might be going on around me. Especially as a woman, I feel much less stressed, let's say, when I have to go out alone, for example.
I'm very satisfied of it, and I highly recommend them. Whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced, you'll always find something that will help you to progress. So, in brief, whatever discipline you come from, or if you're a beginner, if you want to learn combat in all its forms, self-defense, or that if you come from a martial art, perhaps a little more distant from self-defense, it's a really good supplement